I'll stay for nothing less. I'll never stand again. These are the limits when one's buried. This body's lifeless.
Hey guys, welcome to the Sim Standard. Want to do a video on pursuit today. Show this play 2 times its speed here. And to me, you guys have seen tackling coverage videos this week. To me, pursuit is the most critical part of football. Being a former defensive back, I can assure you, proper pursuit allows you to catch faster players than you by just taking a good angle of attack and pursuing to where they're going to be, not where they are. And if you want to think about it in an extreme situation, without proper pursuit, the liability of a defender would be the fastest player on offense could get the ball in his hands every single play and score on you at will. So I want to show some examples both in scoring and non-scoring situations to show you examples of good pursuit, and then we're going to take a look at Madden and compare the two. Now, this is a big play. This is an 80-yard touchdown run, and I think we've discussed in prior videos the reason you have big plays in the NFL is more than one defender gets a move put on them. Because, you only have so many defenders. Once you remove 2 from the equation, like you're going to see here with the defensive back, and then you see here with the defensive end rather, or linebacker, it's Elmas Doomerville. Combine that with good blocking down the field, we see with Dwayne Bowe on number 21, and then we're going to see the tight end come in and block number 31 out of the way as well. That's what causes big plays. Right there's 4 defenders out of the picture before I break 10 yards. That's where big plays happen. So, as you can see, pursuing down the field is 3 players. And we're going to take a look at how they got there. We're going to start with the closest one. That's going to be Champ Bailey. You might have heard of him. He's a pretty decent cornerback. Now, eyes in the backfield procedurally. Pulls a spin move to get free. And then the angle at which he runs is straight down the field. And I want you to notice, I intentionally intersect the lines, and he changes his pursuit seamlessly to mirror me. Now, going back to the second closest player, it's going to be a defensive lineman, number 75 here, Baker. Going to take a look at what he does. And to me, this, although a little bit misunderstood originally, when we go to Madden, you'll understand, is the most important thing. I want you to notice he comes off the line, and remember, he's trying a spin move to get to the quarterback, but in the back of your screen to the left, you can see Jamal Charles has just set up that juke, and he's about to set up that spin. I want you to notice that Baker's pursuit rarely changes. This is pretty much one straight line until Jamal Charles breaks free, and then he runs behind him. Again, to me, that's very critical stuff. He is not reacting to what Jamal Charles is doing, rather reacting to where he's going to be. And finally, we'll take a look at number 21 here, because to me this is really the most impressive. If you remember, we talked about him being locked up with Dwayne Bowe. Dwayne Bowe, of course, a very strong physical receiver. Forces him to the ground, as I break free. He actually picks himself up off the ground, pursues down the field, again, in one angle, until he reaches about the 20-yard line and realizes he's not going to be able to catch the ball carrier. With our second example, a non-scoring play, I want to go back and take a look at the pursuit in this, where we're going to have a very good view of multiple defenders pursuing up the field. Take a look at this from Jamal Charles' perspective again. You can see my fullback comes up, gets a decent block, leaves me with one defensive back to shake. Instead of having him fall down like before, he actually gets a half tackle on me. I'm able to power through it. But that delay is what allows all these defenders you see up here the ability to come up and make contact with me, even though Jamal Charles is able to break one tackle. So going back to the fundamentals here, we're going to take a look real quick at where these defenders came from. Let's take a look at number 51 here. Excuse me, number 31 rather. Going to come over from the safety position. You can watch him assessing the play. It's a play fake, so it's actually pretty good that he maintains position on the quarterback, realizes it's a run, maybe a little late. That's probably an awareness issue. But again, here we go. When we talk about the power moves that are being made, there's not much of an adjustment by him, and he actually comes up and makes an attempted tackle. Now taking a look at number 51, you'll see here he actually is the one that the fullback makes contact with. Continues eyes on the ball carrier, does a little bit of a swim move, and then pursues up the field after being pushed. You can see here, number 42 actually pushes him to continue a block. This is not something I initially realized with the play, but it's pretty impressive and something I've really never seen Madden be able to execute. Now, even though he's pushed out of the play, you can see he continues down the field in one angle, ignores basically the 31, misses the tackle, kind of gets lost in contact behind Doomerville, who essentially makes the tackle. Now let's take a look here at Doomerville real quick. He's playing in a linebacker position, reads the play, reacts faster than the safety did, gets into the open field, gets a little bit of a block off the tight end, and then continues to run in one angle down the field. Finally, we'll go to Champ Bailey. Take a look at how he sees this play from the opposite side of the field. Again, reads the receiver, looks in the backfield, notices the running back has the ball, and makes a direct line toward the sidelines, able to intercept with the running back. Now, to me, the important thing is, again, it's the angle that he takes. Yes, he does divert slightly right here when it appears that there may be a tackle being made. But then other than that, it is one angle all the way down the field, where I'm basically met by 3 Denver Broncos to stop this run before it can go any further. Alright, so now back with Madden. We'll take a look at the touchdown play and go through a few things here, just play it for you at speed, and then we'll take a look at, in my opinion, where this game really loses its fundamentals when it comes to pursuit angles. And you can see there's a handful of Denver Broncos pursuing Jamal Charles at this point. Now, this is going to coincide with the play that I did in 2K5 where I got hit. We'll take a look here. Comes through the line. I mean, there's decent blocking here, actually better than expected with Madden. You can see here I line up with the safety and put a juke move on him and make contact. However, the problem is, if you look behind me, you look at all these defenders, and we're going to go back and look through them individually. They react to this hit and then run to where the ball carrier is currently. What happens is when this tackle gets broken, that's put all but one player trailing me when I start to break off for the run. And then in that, we'll take a look at number 56 and see exactly how things work here. So you can see he's actually the initial guy that gets the block. He gets turned around. He starts to pursue up the field, which is good, but then look at the reaction he makes to this juke. He makes about a 90-degree angle to pursue down to the ball carrier. You should never do this. As we showed with 2K5, it should be one pursuit down the field. So he literally mirrors my route until he gets to a point where he tries to cut over, but he's at the completely wrong angle. He's actually running straight with me down the field if you look at it from this perspective. This should be an angle where he can cut across, not where he's going to run in tandem with me until I've pulled away. So going back and taking a look at a few other players here, we'll see how they adjust their pursuit. There's really nobody all that close, but we'll take a look at the safety. This is one of the things. This is Brian Dawkins. I mean, future Hall of Famer, all-pro safety. He should really be able to make this play. You can see he runs, and then his angle changes. Again, the tackle has been initiated. He goes from running at an angle to cutting back underneath, which puts him at a position to get chipped, but then completely out of the play. I mean, this is not how Brian Dawkins, or really any NFL safety, is going to play. You have to run downfield. You can't let everyone get out of position, going back to number 57 here, simply because there's one tackle that's been made. So taking a look at number 57, excuse me for the camera adjustment there. See, this is a linebacker. Kind of gets shrugged out of the play. He was actually in better position than any other defender on that side of the field. But again, his angle is changing by 5 or 6 yards deep because of this block tackle. He actually gets behind Jamal Charles. You know, this is not sound football fundamentals, and this is what happens in Madden. This is why big plays happen, because you've got one move that affects the entire defense. I mean, you can literally look down the line and see every player's pursuit angle change because of one tackle. And then once that tackle gets broken, it's a touchdown. All right, and our final look with Madden on the non-touchdown to compare. And there's actually decent pursuit here by almost Doomerville and Brian Dawkins, but it's still at such a sharp angle and in constant cuts. Not like we saw the fluidity of 2K. We'll take a look at what happens here. You know, first and foremost, this is a pro-tack engagement, which happens far often with Madden, so This actually is a very commonplace example of what happens in this game. You can actually see from my juke, unlike in 2K, where my juke actually helped take defenders out of position, with Madden, my juke really does nothing, as these guys just basically suction into my player. Now, in terms of the pursuit, if you look back behind, you can see Doomerville closest and Brian Dawkins furthest away. Once the tackle starts, they basically make a cut to come in and pursue the tackle, which is fine. But when the tackle gets broken as before, you can see there Dawkins actually has to open his stride back up to continue to pursue down the field. And this is not fundamental football. Now, initially looking at Doomerville's pursuit, it's pretty good. It's one consistent angle, which is what you want to see. But when we take actually a look at Brian Dawkins, you're going to see not the fluidity or the angles that we saw with All-Pro football. Again, he's reading the he's reading the receiver and defender on his right, and then he makes the cut, but he's running in a straight line. Let me zoom out and see if it can help, because that's what I did with 2K. You can see here just at speed, this is not one angle down the field. He's being really ployed into what he's going to do by what's going on in the backfield. And that's not proper pursuit technique at all. We'll just take one final look here at the cornerback, because he's the second closest to the play. You can see he basically just gets tied up with Bo. But even when he releases, I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is jockeying for position or what. But Bo's clearly not holding him back until this point. He should be pursuing at this point, but he's jogging, and I can't help but think that that's because ProTac is engaged. And once I break out of the ProTac, you can even see back here, a lot of players kind of make that final decision like it's time to go do something. Even when you look at Matt Castle rather. Once the ProTac releases, you can see a change across the board of these players. But again, it's that sharp angle and contrast I wanted to convey to you guys. And certainly, it's not what we see out of 2K5, but it's also not what we would see out of football fundamentally.